Call tonight's order, the North Highlands Recreation Park District meeting. We need to add an item to our new business tonight. We want to add a...
So moved.
Second.
Any others? No. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll move it to D.
Got it.
C is already on the agenda.
Yes, sir.
All right, approval of the minutes of September, and September's regular meeting, and then our special meeting we had on the 22nd. I didn't see anything.
Did you want to take these together or separately?
Well, let's just go with the September 10th, our regular board meeting first.
All right, make a motion to approve September 10th meeting.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then we'll go to the special meeting on the 22nd.
So moved.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Chairperson's report. Oh, that's me. And we can't do double-sided? I was curious. I'm just curious, you know. You're not a state employee, you know, where we take force.
We had to do double-sided too.
You know, I mean, I like yours because it's so pretty in color. I don't have color on my printer. My wife sets it up black and white. So. Any comments from my fellow board members?
No. Nothing next month.
No? Okay.
Staff is doing an awesome job keeping the parks looking real good throughout the pandemic. They're out there working hard. I'll drive by and they'll be out there, you know, whether it's Sierra Creek or Brock or Cherry Blossom. Sorry, I haven't, or Freedom Park, but I haven't been buying any parks courses for the district, but
I'll make sure they know. I appreciate the positive feedback.
My daughter loves cherry blossom. It's right around the corner from her house. She takes my granddaughter there and the dog almost every day.
That's great.
Yeah,
Good to hear.
it's a nice little park.
it gets good use.
Yeah.
I'm very happy that the residents there are enjoying the
Right.
amenity to their development.
Thank you.
All right. We'll jump down to administrator's report.
I'll try to make this quick. Cedar Creek Park has 2 sentences in it. Actually, I just want to give you an update on the study, for the CEQA study. I just reviewed an 182-page draft day before yesterday, and we're in a comment period. We're on schedule right now, maybe, hopefully, knock on wood, a little ahead of schedule, but we don't control that, the county and the ACOM do. But anyway, I just let you know that so far so good. The North Highlands Nexus Impact Fee Study. Alan, you're probably, and Diane, you're probably more familiar with this than the other board members. This has to be done periodically every 5 years. And we actually began this process a year ago. And all the final drafts are now with the county. And they are reviewing it. And on I think it's the second page of the report, I gave you a timeline. It looks like they plan on bringing it to the Board of Supervisors in March 2021. However, once we get our draft copy back from the county, then I'll share it with the board. One interesting aspect of this is, even though it's our Nexus study and it's our fees, they are actually approved by the county, not by the board. But you obviously can review them and comment on them, and I might have SEI, Blair Ross from SEI come up if you think there's any questions for you that you might want to have answered. I also included a new item that I call budget comparison. You know, especially in the period we're at right now with COVID-19, you know, in our budget, we're really watching that budget very closely. So what I've done is I've provided you with to-date expenditures now versus to-date expenditures a year ago. I wouldn't be focused on the dollar amounts because we reduced the budget by quite a bit. I'd be looking at the percentage spent. And as you can tell, under all three divisions, we are spending less in all the divisions compared to last year. And revenue right now, even though we've gone through all this issue of not being able to offer our programs in the summer, other than our limited day camp, we're only about $20,000 behind where we should be for our budget. So, and as Sarah will probably tell you during her report, we provided billing to Twin Rivers Unified School District for the ACES program and the distance learning program for 2 months, correct, Sarah? So, you know, they're always a month or two behind after the billing, but eventually we will get paid. And one thing that's not on the report that I'd like to just briefly touch on, and that's the audit review. As the board knows, typically our audits are, well, last year it was 1 day. In the previous years, it was 2 days. Now we're going up near day 40. And this is the direct result of two main things. One is they're doing this remotely. And Dan, who was our auditor last year for CLA, has moved on and they fired a new auditor. And I don't know if this is the first audit she's done, but she's very thorough and very detailed, and she asks a lot of questions. And so we've been providing her with documentation that she's requested. But as of today, they had sent it back for the, as I think you're aware of, when they do the audits, they review it, and then they send it to another, is it a partner? Another partner in the company, and his team reviews the document and makes comment. They had 4 very minor questions for us that we were able to answer within 2 minutes for them. So we're anticipating that we'll hear back from them soon. Our goal is to bring this before the audit back to the board at the December meeting. I think last year we did it, Terry, do you remember? Was it November? But anyway, we'll have to then set up the committee meeting for the finance committee to review it first, and then we'll bring it back to the board for your approval in December. So that's my report.
So a question for you. So we usually have a meeting with, it was Dan.
Right. It'll be Saran now.
But is it going to be a virtual meeting?
I think so. We haven't got to that point of talking about whether it'll be a telephone meeting or a Zoom meeting, but it will be likely one of those two. It won't be in person. They're not even meeting.
Right, well, that's what I was going for. So I mean, for Pedro and I, we could assume it's going to be a Zoom meeting, so.
Let's assume a Zoom unless I tell you otherwise, and I'll try to check in the next few days to find out what their plan is, but it sounds about right.
Okay, that's fine.
I prefer Zoom over some of the others that we use.
No, that's fine.
That's my report.
So there's no really time limit on this audit. I mean, it has to be done
By June 30th.
of next year. Oh, okay, that's what I was curious.
I say that. We have, since I've been here, we've had our audits all completed either in, I believe,
Right.
November and
It's
December.
usually around November.
Yeah, and I just getting it done and put behind us is our preference.
Yeah, I mean, just for your sake. An audit is pretty timely. I mean, you don't want to do an audit a year later because if something's going wrong here, we wouldn't know for a year later.
Right,
So you
we
always
can't
want to
fix
audit.
it, so, okay, yeah, no, I didn't know if it might have to be done before the end of the year.
No,
Okay.
it's fiscal year.
I can't remember, and maybe you know, Alan, isn't there some stipulation that they made now that it has to be done by a certain date? So audits just don't continue to be kind of.
Yeah, it's by, Government Code 2699, it's by June 30th.
By June 30th.
So it's 12 months after. Now, if we had a single audit, which means we get a bunch of federal dollars, that has to be done by March 31st. So you have, I mean, you can put those together, you can do those separately,
Okay.
but we don't worry about
But our goal is to have it come to the board in December and to the committee prior to it.
it. Okay.
Okay. Maintenance report. Mr. Scott.
Only one thing to add, and I want to bring it up because having any kind of movement on the maintenance staff is a fairly rare occurrence. In my 6 years as park maintenance supervisor, we've had 2 employees move on. One retired after 25 years with us, and then another took a job with the state prison system up in the Susanville area. So we just found out this week that Doug Van Workum, who is our park foreman, after 16 years with the district, will be retiring at the end of January. Doug's been a wonderful employee. He's kind of filled the role as jack of all trades, and just if you've ever met Doug, a wonderful demeanor and calm, measured approach to his job, one that I've become dependent upon and I've learned to appreciate. And just done a little trivia, Doug and I graduated from the same high school, Pacific Grove High School, 3 years apart. I never knew him, he never knew me, but we're fellow breakers. So Larry and I have begun discussions about timelines on how to fill that position. So we'll be, we've got 16 weeks, he's given us plenty of time. His wife recently retired, so he decided it's time for him to retire. So we'll miss him, but we're excited about bringing some new blood onto the team as well. So that's it.
Yeah,
Well wishes to him and his family.
yeah.
I will
And
swear.
retirement's a good life, huh?
Yes, yes.
Sorry, Pedro.
Are we gonna invite him to the January board meeting then?
Yeah.
I can ask, I think that'd be a nice thing.
All right.
So,
I just have one question, Scott. So,
Yeah.
did you take the pictures at Freedom Park of the new 5
I did.
Well, it looks like you had the camera on top of your head.
You know, when I finally got, I'm not a super techie, Alan. So when I finally got them to fit on the same page, they were like this big. So I did a little,
That's fine.
just zoom out.
And this is like,
I get so excited about new firewire, I just had to.
yeah, you could have cropped that out, we would have never done it. Terry knows how to do that.
I got one question. Backflow inspection, that's just flushing something down, seeing how it,
It's mostly pressure checks, and they put them under pressure to see if there's any leaks or anything like that. We had 19 tests done. We actually had 22 tests done so far. We had 2 failures that have both been fixed and retested and approved. So it's just an annual thing that
it's just like cleaning your gutters out.
just making sure they're functioning at full efficiency.
That's what I thought, I just
So
wasn't.
there's no, you're right, there's no sediment, no dirt in the system that can clog up the pipes farther down the road.
Okay. Next one, recreation, Ms. Sarah.
A few things to add. I mentioned Wendy Freeman, the vice principal over at FC Joyce. Rachel and I were discussing with her about getting some training for crisis management and intervention because we are working with high needs students and we're kind of experiencing some challenges along the way. So we're working on getting some digital learning, not digital, business learning, I guess, training for the staff, which is going to be wonderful. We've hired, I think at this point, 11 new staff members to kind of fill the need over at the business learning program. And they're all doing great, but we need some elevated training on handling some elevated situations with our students. And then down to the health and safety code exemption and waiver, it says that staff have to go through another criminal background check. That's on hold. There's regulations that may change. Hopefully that does change because our staff are fingerprinted through the DOJ with us as well as Twin Rivers. So to put them through another fingerprint test and take that is, it's a little bit daunting and expensive. So hopefully we get some work from them. Our application's still pending. Hopefully we get approved, but the fingerprint process is holding. And I will say that with the invoices sent off to Twin Rivers for our programs, we will easily surpass that 20,000 deficit coming up when we get our payment from them. And that's it for our recreation.
So a real quick question out of curiosity. So is there any anything going around that if they do go back, like a hybrid, will this program still continue on?
So yeah, the plan is to continue no matter what. So I foresee us going to May with this program. That's what Rachel and I are planning for. The hybrid model for our after-school program would change a bit because from what I understand now is they're going to have us take half of our students for the after-school program, that is, in person, and the other half are going to be digital. So we have 20 at Ridgepoint and 20 online at Ridgepoint. Now the distance learning program, that would continue depending upon how they open up. So if it's a Monday, Tuesday, Group A, Thursday, Friday, Group B. I don't know how that would affect Wednesday, so if we would do full programming on Wednesday, or if we would be strictly Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. But yes, the plan is to continue, but there are so many balls in the air. I'm sure I watched their board meeting today, a long board meeting, it took me all day to kind of get through it. And there's a lot of different models that they're considering. Each one would require us to adjust in a certain way, which is fine. We're able to be flexible. It's kind of how it goes with a new program. We know that we're somewhat having to reinvent the wheel because this has not ever been something we've ever done before. But we're prepared for that, we're positive, and we're really happy with the way it's going. The hybrid model, it would throw a little bit of a curveball our way, but nothing we couldn't handle that. It might change the demographic of student.
Sure.
I think we would probably at that point take more Twin Rivers staff students to kind of help bridge the gap for their staff. But I don't know 100%, but yes, we will continue.
Good. That's all. That's all.
So, Sarah, based upon a comment you made, so you appreciate our board meetings then, right?
I do. I looked at the clock, it was like 2.5 hours. They're usually not that quite that long, but it was a long one.
I got news for you. Some of ours used to go that long and longer.
Oh, well, I'm sure they would be fine.
Hey, can anyone come in and see how it runs? Like, say, if I wanted to come in and see how your program runs in there in the mornings?
We'd have to arrange that. We need to schedule an appointment and I could walk you through there, but we don't allow, typically we don't allow anyone outside. Parents are stopped at the door.
Okay.
The only person that's been outside, an outside person has been Miss Freeman, Wendy Freeman, that came over because she's been assisting us with some behavior because they're her students that she sees, and then Doug, who came over and assisted us with some door issues. But I'm more than happy to schedule that. I would love for all of you to see the facility. So yeah, if you're interested.
I'll shoot you an email and find out when you got some time. I know my schedule's pretty busy, but I'll find time for you.
Wonderful. We would love to have anyone come out. But yeah, we'll get that.
We hear about it, we hear how good it's running, how things are going, and I mean, I wouldn't mind coming and just observing, just coming in and like you say, just give me a quick, hey, this is what we do here. You know, I come first thing in the morning like everyone else, just to see it from how it opens up.
100%. We're here, we're open from 7:30 to 6. And each classroom pod is so different. It's cute. The little kids versus the older kids. It's just really great. So yeah, absolutely.
I'll shoot you an email.
Perfect. Look forward to it.
All right, correspondence. Oh, no, we already talked about the budget revenue already. So the correspondence, we have none. Comments and reports from citizens, we do have. Ms. Hardy.
Good evening.
Good evening,
It's
welcome.
a pleasure to be here with you all. First time giving public comment in this space, so thanks for your patience and allowing me to share. I just wanted to say I was actually on that call with Twin Rivers.
Yeah.
And what was awesome was Mike Baker stayed after. We have a Twin Rivers parent group. He joined on the parent group and just stayed on for about an hour or so, answering questions to parents. So that's really cool that he does that. I'm an impact staff for Liberty Towers Incubator, right at Liberty Towers on the corner of Elkhorn and Hillsdale. We are the site for the Black Child Legacy Incubator, serving North Highlands, Foothill Farms, and surrounding areas, so McCullen, Antelope, Citrus Heights, and anywhere else. And because we're part of the Black Child Legacy Incubator, we connect and collaborate with so many organizations throughout Sacramento. So I just wanted to offer our support to North Highlands, the Park and Rec District. We offer navigation, programs, resources, services. Even now, right now, there's a family night going on. I hope they're maintaining social distance, but I know they have masks, they give them food. There's something for kids, teenagers, and adults. A part of the collaborative, we have a crisis response or community response. So anytime there's a shooting or an incident, someone running out of gas, someone needs diapers or wipes, we answer the call. We have a MOU, so a Memorandum of Understanding with Sacramento County Department of Human Assistance, Child Protective Services, probation, and then we also have one with Twin Rivers. So we're available if there's any way to work it out respectfully. We are open, ready, and available. And then lastly, I'm super excited. I'm running for director for the North Highlands Recreation Park Board. So hopefully we'll see each other soon again. And even now, I'm super sparked. This has really caused me to see how I can serve in my community right here locally. I've attended events. I've been a vendor at the different stuff across the Freedom Park, even here when we do the community night outs and all of those cool things. So I look forward to it. I'm really thankful and grateful to be part of this district and be a resident. And thanks for allowing my kids and all to come and visit with me. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have one question.
Yes.
So, a couple Saturdays ago, a bunch of sheriffs there, did they have put on a,
Yes. Oh my gosh. So we work with the Sacramento Sheriff's Department and really practically anyone who's willing to work with us. Because our mission is really to build resilient communities, to strengthen our community members, and serve their needs. So they did their Unity and Community on Saturday from like 10 to 1. They ran out of everything. Backpacks, school supplies, food. They served over 800 hamburgers. And that was because we were able to advertise and promote, and folks from all over the town came. So it was really cool. And then they had like all of their departments there, all of their, stuff that they do, have them out, drones and all that stuff. So it was really cool collaboration. We look forward to more.
yeah, I just happened, I was going over to my mom's, I'm going, what? What's all, because like you said, I didn't see anything. And I live around the corner here, and I see cop cars, I see those, But good, well, I'm glad that worked out well.
Yeah, they partnered with us for our summer bash, our back to school summer bash, where we gave away backpacks, school supplies, food, and all that stuff again. And they liked it, so they were like, we're going to try doing it again. So they partnered with us. The first time when we did our back to school bash, they did 400 to-go meals. Ran out of those. Ran out of everything. Backpacks, school supplies. Christine Jefferson, who's the new trustee. Nothing said. She's the new trustee. She sponsored a number of backpacks and all of that good stuff. So we just love to collaborate and connect, and that's what we do. And then just don't leave.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, unfinished business, the distance learning support program.
I did talk about it, but
Yeah.
from the last meeting, I know Alan, you mentioned something about the cold and flu season and mitigating some of the spread. I did want to say that the last 2 weeks, we've had 97% enrollment, but the previous to that, we had a strep throat spread through one group cohort, and we had another, just a general cold and cold symptoms. And I did want to share that the cohorts work because it did not spread from one group to another. So the strep throat stayed in our little kids group, which is never a good thing to celebrate that there was anything like that, but it didn't spread and it only affected 2 students. And to be in an 844 square foot space from 7:30 to 6 p.m. and to not have more than 2 kids come down with something as contagious as strep throat says a lot about the staff, and it's just super, they're just doing such a really great job. And like I said, we're continuing to hire more staff because we will need to beef up our staff as they will likely come down with some colds themselves. And I do want to give some major kudos to the maintenance and park facilities team because we couldn't do it without them. They're in the building in the morning, cleaning every single morning and sanitizing and stepping it up. So we appreciate their support as well. That's it.
Thank you. All right, new business. SCTA request for a temporary reduction. Larry?
As the board is aware, we leased the building at Streetscape Park to Seta, who also runs a Head Start services program at the building. I don't know how long they've been a tenant of ours, but I think for a very, very long time. A very good tenant. We rarely hear from them, and their requests are minor, if anything. Well, I attached a letter from one of their staff members, Mr. Call, who contacted us. He's a head manager for Head Start and Children and Family Services. And he asked if the board would consider a temporary rent reduction. Right now, they are still being fully funded, but he anticipates that that's going to change by the time the board takes action tonight, and I contact him tomorrow. I said, what would happen if the board decided not to do this? I said, would you leave as a tenant? He goes, no, we absolutely, that's the best building we have in our entire program. The program's solid, but, you know, we certainly want to ask, and as the board knows, we made an exception, not an exception, but we honored a request from All-Star Specialty Events several months ago for a temporary rent reduction. And, you know, I didn't have any real starting point to work from this. So I suggested that the board consider a $500 a month temporary rent reduction for 4 months, which would take their current rent, which is $2,055 a month, down to $1,655 a month. For over the 4 months, it would cost us a lost revenue of a couple $1,000s. It's considering everything we're dealing with, it's not significant. But the programs and the services that they provide to the residents of North Highlands are, you just can't measure what they do. And like I said, an outstanding tenant, probably the best that we've had. And Terry, I don't think they've ever been late on a payment. And so if the board agrees, I recommended that we do a 4-month temporary rent reduction of $500 a month.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve staff's recommendation. I'll second that motion.
Any other discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
That's good, we need people like that.
So let's talk about, go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to jump into the next one, go right ahead.
Well, you can't, I'm just,
My mind's racing. My mind's racing
resolution.
faster than my mind.
Resolution 595 is the application for statewide park development and community revitalization programs and grant funds, so.
So I was actually getting ahead of myself here a little bit. We've been talking about the Prop 68 for quite a long time. We are in the process now of putting the application together. And one of the requirements of the application is that the board pass a resolution, as stated, that you would accept the grant funds provided that the district would offer those funds. Now, I do want to put things in perspective. This is the last round of grant funds, and while it's the large fund, I think it's $355 million, it's going to be very competitive. But if you don't apply, you're not going to get anything. And we still feel we have a very strong application. So the board previously passed a resolution for Prop 68 per capita grant. That's still in play. We'll be talking about that next month. But this one is a requirement, and we have to submit this prior to the December 14th deadline, I believe, for the application. But anyway, so this is, we're making a recommendation that the board approve Resolution 595.
Yeah, I'll move it that we approve resolution 595, North Highlands Recreation Partnership, the application for statewide park development and community revitalization program grant fund.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So the next one, consideration and approval of amendment to the district administrator's employment agreement. That's why I read this now, right? The board member amended the employment agreement with the district administrator in order to extend the contract term to March 31st, 2024. add administrative leave and life insurance benefits, and extend the severance pay period by 1 month. This agreement will be filed in the district office as anybody needs it.
You have to approve that now, right?
Yes.
Right, any,
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the district administrator's employment agreement.
I'll second that motion.
any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, D. D is the ballot. Well, I'm gonna let, but it's definitely, we have to vote on a couple of people, or vote for one at least. It's the, like it says here, Capri's election ballot for 2020. So Larry, I'll let you.
Sure. The board is familiar with Capri, who provides insurance and services to our district, and amongst many other things, including trainings and ADA information and support. But mainly they are insurance carrier for auto damage, crime, property damage, liability, identity fraud, workers' comp, flood, fire, and that's just a sample of all the coverage that's provided by Capri. As the board is aware, I'm the vice president of Capri this last year, and if the board has any interest, I do have some insight on some of the candidates, or you simply can make up your own mind, but we're asking the board to vote on 2 candidates, and I will return the ballot back to Capri with your decision.
So I guess I have a question. So of these 5 running, 2 were incumbents.
Yes.
Do you think they've done an adequate job, a good job? I mean, are they at the board meetings, or, I don't know if they're virtual now, probably.
Well, Dean Wetter, who's at the bottom, Dean is the general manager for a large valley-wide district in Southern California,
Okay.
and Dean is outstanding. He's our Capri board president, and it's just outstanding.
Okay.
Matthew Kuzi he's been with Livermore Area Recreation Park District for several years now, but prior to that was an executive with the State Parks for over 25 years. I've been with Capri now for 4 years, something like that. And I can tell you that they have added so much to the organization and to the board. I'm biased, I know that, but I also know some of the other people too, and I think they're outstanding. But I think that the 2 incumbents are
Well,
doing a great job.
that's why I started with both of them. I figured they have a track record, and if you think they've done an outstanding job, I don't think we ought to risk trying to get somebody else that we think may be good. So I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we vote for Matthew and Dean.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Payment of the bills.
Alan has a question.
Howard, please go. I try not to look that way. I try to keep looking down at you.
And it's probably been here before, but I haven't picked it up because I'm getting older. So who's DLL Financial?
They are our phone copy. We're leasing a copy machine.
So why are they under taxes too?
Because the tax, Sacramento County sent us for taxes on the
For
machine.
the copiers.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. So we had to pay them or the county?
We had to pay the county, and then they billed us for another portion of some tax, but they're not the same amount. I know.
Was that an unsecured
Yeah. It's got-
property tax
right.
then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to ratify payment of the bills for both the district and for Terry Castle.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? All in favor? All right, we'll adjourn this meeting.
Before you adjourn, tell our board members, so I understand that not everybody's current on all of their required courses, et cetera. So is everybody working on that?
I'm working on it.
Well, I meant to bring my iPad in. I was gonna see if, because I found 2 classes, well, obviously
The ethics and
the ethics and the sexual harassment one. And then you showed that one, that ethics one coming next month.
So the beauty of it is that a lot of these are actually on demand. So you can either wait some time for them to be offered at a certain time, or you can actually, and I don't know what the price difference is, it might be $5 or $10 more on demand, but you can fit it to your schedule. And when I finally went in and looked at their library of all the training, I thought, oh my goodness, we need to take more advantage of this because there's so many things there. But as you know, it's required by law that as elected and appointed officials must keep current your sexual harassment and your ethics AB 1234 training, and they're good for 2 years. So I sent each board member a status of where you are, what you need to do, and what you already have current. So if there's anything that Terry and I can do to help you out, just give us a call and we will do so. You can certainly pay for the training yourself and turn in your receipt and we can reimburse you, or we can go through Terry and Terry can use the district credit card to go ahead and pay for it in advance.
So the 2 classes I looked at and I have in my cart is $55 each. Is that too expensive or?
No, some of them, I mean,
I've never had to pay for it. So that's why.
The one that Diane one was 85.
Yeah, I mean, oh, that's the one that was through, was that through,
CSD.
oh, CSDA? Yeah, like,
Was it that CSDA? That's where I went through and it was $2 $55.
yeah, different prices for different trainings.
55.
I saw 85 when I looked at it.
Yeah, I think most of all I saw, as low as 45 up to 65. They could be different. I think a lot of it has to do with who's putting it on. Did CSD have to pay for that training?
Right.
And maybe the length of the training. I'm sure those things play into it. But we have money budgeted for the board to take trainings and go into training. So don't worry about whether it's $5 or $10 more. We want to make sure we get you up current, so that those things are become a non-issue.
So if you take these things like in school and stuff, those won't work.
Nope, because I have, for my CPA license, I have a separate ethics I've got to do and this ethics, not the same. You've got to specifically take these 2 classes.
So even ex-state employee, I mean, because that's what I used last time with my ethics and
Unless you took it's a.
it wasn't that 1, 2, 3, 4.
Then that's not.
Yeah, you have to.
I can't remember, it's not one of these 2 trainings,
Right.
but I did take a training last year. Terry has a copy on file, but I took it through Nevada County. But it met a requirement that I had to take here, and it was accepted. But it's not these 2 particular, which are mandated. So I could check and find out for you that if you have one that's valid, I can certainly check and find out if it's acceptable.
Yeah,
But I kind of believe what Alan said is that you've got to take it through that particular
Yeah,
source.
same thing with the county. I had to take a sexual harassment class. Didn't qualify for this. They're different classes.
There's an additional
No, they're different classes.
Senate bill that's
Yeah.
included
Required.
with the ones for
Because as a board member,
like,
we have different interactions with staff and public than you do as an employee. That's why the classes are different.
yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I found it CSDA, because I went how you told it step by step and everything. Yeah, these are $55 classes. Have you taken it already?
No, I'm gonna take it in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I was gonna look at it more, but I wanted to show Larry. I meant to bring my iPad tonight since I came in early.
Well, CSDA back in like February or March, for like a month, they had a time frame that if you were a member, you got it for free. So, is that what I did?
Yeah, what they do, a lot of times when you go to like the CSD conference, they'll offer these trainings at the conference. That's where I got mine last year. That's for free at the conference.
Yeah.
They do those at the conference.
If anybody wants to take it here on our laptop, we can set you up in the conference room. And again, we can make arrangements. Keep a thing in mind, when you make the arrangements, you can set it to your time and you have flexibility. If you have to change it, you can. If we set it up, it becomes a little bit more complicated if we have to change things for you, but we're more than willing to do that for you.
So is it easier for us just to go ahead and pay it, resubmit?
Actually, whatever you're more comfortable with. I mean, if you say you want to take it and I want to take it on this date and
No,
time.
we don't want to take it, but, let's do this straight.
Terry would give you a credit card number, and you could do it, and then it's going to be charged directly to us. But the problem is that if you decide to change it later on, then, okay, we have to kind of change the credit card, we have to do it, you probably can't do it on your, I'm not sure, but it seems a little bit more complicated that way. But whatever you want to do, we can prepay it, or you can pay it and you be reimbursed.
It just sounds like, I mean, I almost think once you submit to this class, then you got X amount of time to finish it, I would think. I mean, I don't know.
Well, 2 hour class.
It's a 2 hour start from finish. You can't start and stop it. At least I haven't seen one.
So get it done before football season starts.
I was looking, I'm going, God, I gotta do this already, right here. I've
Yeah.
already done this, you know what I'm
That's
saying?
it.
Yeah, it's different, and I know at the beginning of the year, they offer taking the ethics class for free for, from January to March, that's
Right.
how I've done it.
Right.
And yeah, you have to be logged into that program for 2 solid hours,
Yeah.
even though you could probably read through everything in an hour and a half.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a state program, you can't fast forward, you have to let them
Nope.
speak,
Yeah.
then.
Each page is timed.
Yeah, so, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
All right.
Sorry, I should have brought that up before.
Well,
I'm glad you did. Not really, but you know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah, I'm good for my.
Well, again, just let us know if we can help you out.
Bearer of good news, right?
That's what I do. That's what I've always done. Come on.
you usually pick up Terry,
Yeah,
not
you need
us.
to be in compliance.
Yeah, but Terry asked me to back off.
If we ever get audited, we.
All right, our next regular board meeting will be November 12th, 2020, at 6:30 in Highlands Recreation Center here on meeting adjourned.
If you want to